Hi, I'm Vania Soto, and today I'm going to be doing a painting here at the Kauffman Center. I'm going to be doing a painting of Day of the Dead. So Day of the Dead is a tradition that's over 3,000 years old. They started with the Aztec, the indigenous people in Central America, and over 500 years it has changed the way that we celebrate it. We celebrate Day of the Dead to commemorate all of our ancestors and the people that we've lost throughout our lives. And the biggest tradition is doing an ofrenda, an altar, kind of like a shrine of the things that describe the people that have passed away. For example, I have a grandmother who passed away that loved mole. Mole, it's a Mexican dish, and so I always make mole for her and I put it in the altar. So it's kind of like making a feast for the ones that have passed away, and we invite them to come into our home and kind of have dinner with us. I am going to be painting a Day of the Dead portrait of a girl with her sugar skull painted on her face, and on her forehead I'm going to be adding marigolds to her face painting. Marigolds are super important in the tradition because it's said that marigolds grow in the times of the Day of the Dead. And the reason why that is because when our ancestors come back to visit us, they bring back gifts for us, and marigolds are one of the gifts. And so the tradition is to put it on the ground leading up to the altar that everybody has up for their loved ones, all the way up to the altar with marigold petals. And that's just a tradition to kind of let them know the way so they can find the altar. I'm going to be adding monarch butterflies into her makeup as well, just because it's super important to our culture to remember why we do it in the times that we do it. Because the monarch butterflies migrate back to Mexico from Canada. But they go through the US to get to Mexico just in the nick of time of the days we actually celebrate Day of the Dead. And they said that that's when the souls come back to visit us because they're ready for us to celebrate them. So it's around those days that at every single year they come back. So the tradition said that the monarch butterflies come back and they represent the people that we are commemorating. And there's like a parade about it, you know, when the monarchs start coming back, because everybody's prepping for Day of the Dead. There's 2 days that we celebrate Day of the Dead. The first day is to celebrate the children that had passed away before their time. So that is the first day. It's called the Day of the Little Saints, which always is tied to Saints' Day. So, but it's not. The reason why it's not tied is because Day of the Dead is just such an old tradition that after the Spaniards conquered Mexico, or were conquering the Aztecs, they brought their religion, which is Catholicism. And so after so many years, it's 3,000 years old, so after 500 years of the celebration, they decided to kind of add the Catholicism part to it. So that's why a lot of people get it mixed up. And then the second day is to commemorate everybody else that's not considered child, so 14 and up. Over the years, the traditions have changed just because artists in Mexico would come up with different themes like the Catrina. That's what made it so popular to dress up like that, because the artist Diego Rivera added a Catrina into one of his murals in Mexico. I think the biggest misconception is that it has anything to do with Halloween. It definitely does not. I think it's kind of the opposite, because Halloween is more scary, and it's, you know, less about dead, but more about hollows. This tradition of celebrating Day of the Dead is 3,000 years old. So it's super important to let people know why we dress up, and it's not really a costume we're putting on. It's more of a traditional wear during that holiday of us. It's the most important holiday. And people leave their altars up. I have my altar up all year long. And the only thing is just when it's Day of the Dead, you clean it and you add things to it, and people do themes and stuff like that. And you know, a lot of people think it's just like a little morbid to like, you know, do the skulls and everything, but really it's to kind of make light of it, that they're gone, but they're still here, and it's still like a fun way to remember them. So dressing up for Day of the Dead is just kind of like painting your face like a sugar skull. A sugar skull is a mold made out of sugar that people eat as treats because it is a holiday. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching me paint.